Happy Tuesday, everybody. Not quite hump day, not quite Monday. Tuesday was always one of the worst days. And speaking of worst days, it is with a heavy, heavy heart. I bring you the news that our favorite centrist, Asmongold, has descended into madness. His final descent into being a Rightoid is complete. Asmongold is now Chudmongold. I resisted calling him Chudmongold on our drama because I wasn't very convinced he was a full Rightoid. Nobody likes Rightoids. Everybody hates Rightoids. That's why they're kind of relegated to like this sad part of the internet, specifically Tectone's chat. But for the most part, I resisted calling Chudmongold because I felt like he wasn't really truly a chud quite yet. But unfortunately, on Mother's Day of all days, Chudmongold decided to make this tweet. And this is very, very heartbreaking for one of his female audience members. And I would say now he doesn't even care. He's just like, fuck you, I don't care, you're female. I feel like I first need to mention that I started watching Asmongold, aka Chudmongold, sometime around, I think it was 2018, 2019, maybe it was 2020. It was whenever he made that video of Pink Sparkles in his attic. He announced he and Pink Sparkles were now dating. That news hit our drama, and I decided to go check him out. I followed him and I watched him. I didn't really fully watch him all the time until probably Final Fantasy. I watched him off and on. I did watch, I liked watching him play WoW, but he spent a lot of time complaining about WoW, which is okay, right? Like, that was his thing. He played Warcraft, and that was, if it's something he didn't like it, he would talk about it. I was an off and on Warcraft player, so I would watch him sometimes. But then the very sad news about his mom came around, and he wasn't bad. In my opinion, he has not been super terrible. I would say a few months ago. I feel like he's only been really, really bad the last few months. I know his dad passed away, and that's really sad. He said on stream his dad would rein him in and say, oh, buddy, you're going a little too far. So I wonder if that's related. I almost feel like it's not that I've lost, it doesn't feel like I'm losing a friend. It feels like that's too weird because I don't know him and he doesn't know me. But I feel like I'm losing this character in some show that I really like, and the writers have decided to rewrite the entire personality of this character. And I'm like, please, no, stop it. And I'm holding on. I'm like, no. It's not over yet. It could turn around, but they never do. They just keep writing this character, and he's like the good guy turned into the bad guy. It really sucks. And I feel like this comment that he's decided to make is coming from a place where, if you've ever known somebody who respects their mother, a guy who respects their mother would not shit on women like this. But his mother isn't around anymore. He never used to say this shit. Never, ever used to say this shit. Now, I know he was going to be like, but then women came into our video games. But even back, like, let's say a couple years ago, he would push back on his incel audience, his Rightoid audience, and he wouldn't allow complete shitting on women, right? But now he is one of his audience. I have a theory that these big streamers can't help it. There's nothing that they can do. They become their audience. The extremists, the politicoper streamers, the debate bros. Asmongold and Hasan are the two that come to mind the most. Like Hasan has become the extremist on the left, and now Asmongold has become the extremist on the right. He used to push back on his audience. He used to not descend into like just complete rightoidism, but now that's what he's doing. And I think it's because if I think about it, if you were sitting for 8 hours a day, 8 hours a goddamn day, staring at a chat full of rightoids that just scream, look at this, look at, oh my God, look at this, oh my God, look at this, oh, look, the women, the women. If that's what you stared at all day, it would be hard not to become that thing because that's all he does. Look at his subreddit. I don't know how much he goes to his subreddit anymore. I don't think he's put his subreddit on stream for a while, but that's just complaining about women, complaining about a game. I think this is complaining about women. Oh, complaining about a game. It has women in it. Okay, this is about Valve. This one seems to be like what you would see a couple years ago. Oh, some girl's outfit was censored. Oh, we're going to complain more about women. This is complain about women. This is if Hasan was a woman. Okay. This one is migrants. Oh, we got a migrant. We got a migrant and racism. Transracial. This one is a personal story. Let's take a look at this.
Realize at a certain point that it's because I'm brown or myself.
Oh, it's complaining about Hasan. Yeah, they like to complain about Hasan. If it's not complaining about women and migrants, it's complaining about Hasan. Oh, this is more like, look at this migrant. Oh my God. Like they find his audience just sits and bitches about the world all day long. They never go outside and enjoy anything. It's always just bitching about politics or some random obscure video they saw. This one was kind of funny. This is the roast of Kevin Hart. This was I don't know if I could show this on YouTube, but it was part of the roast on Kevin Hart. This was actually kind of funny. That one was okay. So we've got 2 out of the first, 10-ish that are kind of okay. This is complaining about women. I didn't watch this one. This one is probably okay. Jackie Chan fight scene. Jackie Chan was a badass. Oh, we're going to complain about politics. This one was funny. This one is actually a joke about migrants, but this one was kind of funny. I think this is complaining about women. Oh no, this is complaining about Michael Jackson. So this one's not the stereotype. Women in video games. Like that's just what they do. They just find the most obscure videos and like, look Asmon, look at this racism, migrants, violence, women. If that was thrown at you all day long for 8 hours, and then he says he gets off stream, eats, and then doom scrolls X. Now X is even worse. X is worse than Reddit. X is if you click on one thing, let's say for example, somebody complaining about women, you start getting that shit all over your feed, the For You feed. I clicked on a few threads about VTuber artists. Now that's all I get in my For You feed. It's complaining about VTuber artists. That's what happens. And he focuses on all the politicope stuff and the migrants and the women. So he probably gets that shit all day long. And the problem is he doesn't go outside. He doesn't go outside. So he doesn't have perspective. And I've always said a good man respects his mother. And if he respects his mother, he would never say all women are whores or all women are suck, or he would never say the things that Asmongold says about women, just complaining about women, repeal the 19, and as we see here, they can only be mothers or prostitutes. Like he would never say this 5 years ago, which really, really is heartbreaking. Now I know that all the Rightoids are gonna be, yeah, too bad, Boyd. But no, like those Rightoids are just angry little men that want to blame women and migrants for all of their problems. And while you could say, yes, there are some women that ruin video games, there are some migrants that are violent and need to be deported, little things like that, yes, but you don't stereotype all women like that. It's not all women, it's not all migrants, but that's what we've come to with Chudmongold, and it really, really sucks. I just recently watched this video from Chleepy. I will link it in my description since I'm going to react a little bit about this because I liked his take. To rewind a little bit, as a female, I would never say all men are trash because I respect my dad. I respect my dad. I respect the men in my life who were good to me and gave me a great life. And I think a man who respects his mother would never say some of the shit Asmongold is saying. If you've ever met somebody who lost somebody who was very important to them, whether it be a mom or a dad, a lot of times in their brains, once that person is gone, they no longer need to censor themselves. So sometimes I wonder if that's where he's coming from. But I also think Asmongold is a very unhappy, angry person. And it's really sad that men actually think he's a champion for them when instead of looking at a guy who is angry, mad, and depressed and sits in his house all day as somebody you should look up to, you should be looking at how can I change my life to make it better? Now, Asmongold, at least from what he says on stream, he has no interest in making his life better. He doesn't care. I don't really think that's true. I think he's saying that for his audience. But I do think he would like to change the bad about his life. It's just maybe in his mind, he's 35, he's given up, and nobody would ever date him. The fact of the matter is, I mean, I'll be honest, he digs on his own looks a lot. He cleans up nicely. Asmon cleans up nicely. If he cleaned up his house and cleaned up himself, he does. I like, and he has money. I mean, everybody's gonna be like, well, he's rich and it's all about money. Having money will help him a lot. But I don't think Asmongold is a lost cause. I don't want to believe he's a lost cause. I don't want to say I'm an X fan yet. I don't want to say I'm an X fan. I'm trying to hold out, but this latest this latest tweet is really shitty, especially on Mother's Day, especially on Mother's Day. And I'm sure if I go through this, I'll see women like defending themselves and then men being like, yeah, yeah. And it's unfortunate because I would almost say Asmongold has more of a chance of turning it around and having the life that he wants, whatever that is. I don't think what he has now is what he wants, personally. I don't get that vibe from him as he talks, and when he gets a little personal, he tries to stay away from being personal, but when he does open up just a little bit, I don't get the vibe that he is currently living the life that he wants to live. But his audience has a far less chance of breaking free of it because they sit on the internet and find things to bitch about all day long, women, migrants, whatever, and go to this guy Chudmongold and say, thank you for confirming my beliefs. Thank you for reaffirming that women suck. Yes, that's my problem. It's women suck. It's not I suck and I need to go outside. No, no, no. It's women suck and this guy who's a millionaire. That's all I care about is money. That's all they care about is money. Oh, he's a millionaire. I don't care about anything else. So he is reaffirming my beliefs that women suck. It really sucks to see that. I mean, he has 22K likes, so I'm sure a majority of that is men. But I thought I could segue into reacting to this video from a guy who has a little more of a guy take on things. And I feel like it makes me feel good to see that he isn't like, yeah, Chudmongold, he's right, women suck. So it's only 11 minutes and 44 seconds. So let's see if I can get through this in the next 15. We'll see. Probably not, but let's watch and react to his video.
Roles are more vulnerable to AI automation than male roles. Now, looking at the post interactions, immediately everybody's bringing up this iconic.
I will say this was a brilliant PR move. I really feel like this was a PR move for the product that they're selling. I forget what they were selling. They were selling a product. They did this TikTok and it took off. Like, a lot of people hated on it, but it got the product out there. And as we know, all PR is good PR. And he'll go on to say it was obnoxious, but I think that was kind of the point.
Video. They were serving. But yeah, the two top posts are just retweeting this one video, the Gen Z boss and a mini.
Gen Z boss and a mini! Gen Z boss and a mini!
Listen, I get it. It's insufferable. I understand. Anyone that's ever worked in an environment that has any amount of HR, corporate culture, okay? You understand.
I despise HR people. I despise HR people. I feel like Reddit is full of HR people. That's what I feel like when I go on Reddit. It's just HR people. If you do not think exactly like the hive mind, you're getting banned, your post removed, that's it. You cannot have a nuanced opinion, a different opinion. No, banned.
Understand how incredibly fake everything feels, how powerless you are to the whims of your manager, boss, or whatever other person above you decides to make a decision that day. It's a Gundam actually made a video about this, and there's a quote I want to play here.
He's a fat, out-of-shape black man. That's the target audience. Greasy-ass dudes with like a BMI of 40 plus. Not some scrawny Asian girl who
She could be white for all I know.
looks like she's getting paid way too much to not know the core audience. What is this? For real. It's like when they got Dylan Mulvaney to do Bud Light. It made no sense.
Whoever did this hiring is regarded. They're full on regarded. Dude, I think she's driving a Porsche, bro. She's making so much cash. She's got a baby blue Porsche, my dude.
So yeah, just whinging about how much money this person's making and that they're not the right person for the job, okay? This video got 344,000 views. As you can imagine, this is a popular position online, and I get it. Especially for this video, I understand that the idea that some, you know, woman who's never played a video game is working at Xbox while the fat chuds, okay? You guys are forced to just be consumers. How miserable. What a terrible experience. You want your $150,000 salary and a Porsche. Which office should I visit next? The unemployment office. This is why Elon gutted Twitter by 80%. How did that go for Twitter and, you know, American democracy? And of course, remember, these are the people who make the workplace miserable. Now, I have two separate positions on this. A, I can totally empathize with the idea that you are frustrated that the people superior to you in your position are incompetent, make terrible decisions, or otherwise just frustrating to work with. I totally understand that. I can sympathize with that. I get that. Knowing the type of content It's a Gundam makes, the way It's a Gundam speaks, the comment section that he has, I think this comment section doesn't like women. I can understand finding the Gen Z boss and a mini TikTok repulsive.
I do think like people went so overboard with that TikTok. It was kind of funny because in my mind it was catchy. Even if people hated on it, it was catchy and it got that product out. I think it wasn't it like a beauty product or something? Of course, here I am saying, oh, it was brilliant PR and I can't even remember what product it was, but I believe it was some kind of beauty product or something like that.
Okay, because it smells corporate as fuck. It's also just like a female behavior that you're typically not going to find interesting as a guy. And these are some fucking chuds, let's just be honest.
He's a fat, out-of-shape black man. That's the target audience. Greasy-ass dudes.
And It's a Gundam here is making an appeal like, oh, they're hiring these women that know nothing about the game. They're just these corporate HR perfect women, you know what I mean? Where are the greasy chuds? Where are the people that are actually the target demographic that actually know what gamers want? Like in his view, the product manager at Xbox should be, you know, an overweight chud that actually plays Xbox games, which I don't entirely disagree with. Like, I understand that, and I actually think that if you have somebody that understands the fan base.
The funny thing is that overweight chuds, like what he's talking about, If you've ever worked with them, they're also insufferable to work with because they're kind of snarky. They have an inflated sense of self-worth. They think they're the best at their job. They're the best programmer, the best creator, the best designer, but nobody wants to actually work with them because they're not as good as they say they are. They're not terrible. They're usually okay, but their attitude and personality makes them insufferable to work with, so nobody wants to collaborate with them. And in a workplace, that's a bad thing. You need your people, your team to want to work together.
You're more likely to get better results. But I'm going to say something that nobody wants to hear, but corporations want this person, okay? I know, that sucks, but this is like a clean, well put together person that's going to speak properly, that's not going to cause any HR problems. While I can understand that you feel that there's not a product manager at Xbox that represents you as a fat chud, you know, this is what a corporation wants. They want this person. Now, why do they want that person? They want that person because that person won't cause problems. That person is low maintenance, which I think is something that these corporations think about a lot. And I think that's the main reason why they'd like to replace as many human jobs as possible with AI. And so,
yeah, this is why AI is replacing some roles, and he'll get into Asmongold's tweet, which he's getting into right now. But Asmongold's claim is that it's replacing mostly women when it actually is replacing some low-end like programming jobs. It replaces designers, and in my experience, a lot of like a programming department, not so much IT. IT, from what I've always experienced, is mostly men. In a programming group, usually the designers are like split 50-50 men, female, and then the software devs are mostly men. So if you cut out the bottom level of programmers, like junior level programmers, I think a lot of them are men, like, and then you cut out like the bottom level of designers, then you'd probably hit a lot of women.
Oh, reading this tweet, it kind of feels a lot like engagement bait. Like, I tried to look on the Polymarket website. It's not like they have a story for this anywhere. They don't link to anything that discusses this further. They just put out this tweet. New analysis reveals female-dominated corporate roles are more vulnerable to AI automation than male roles. What in particular?
Yeah, he does make a good point. This is probably like rage bait to get Polymarket noticed.
Would make a female-dominated.
All of my best videos are rage bait. Rage bait is completely rewarded now.
Role more vulnerable than a male dom. I don't know, and they don't really expand on it either. And this is where my issue comes, is this feels like an easy way to get young, sad chuds that are on Twitter to be a little bit more pro AI. That's what this.
Exactly. The people that are like, yeah, replace all those jobs. It's all chuds. I think, as a person who is affected by AI, I can appreciate the fight to stop AI. I think it's a losing battle. I think you have to kind of give in and just realize what's going on. But I would never celebrate the loss of somebody not being able to put food on their table. Asmongold called it selfish. I guess if you want to be pedantic, it is selfish because I want to put food on my table, but also it's survival. If you were in our shoes, people who were threatened by AI, you would have the same thing. Like, Asmongold says a lot of things that he says because it doesn't affect him. He's made a ton of money. His Rightoid fans just keep giving him more and more money. He'll always have money. Money is not an issue for him, so he can basically sit in his ivory tower and just shit on everybody else who might be fighting back because they're not going to be able to pay their bills.
reads as for me. Fuck those bimbos, okay, and their corporate rules. AI is coming for you. That's like kind of the vibe it's giving off. When in reality, this is like something that everybody should be aware of and kind of fear for their own position. In a time where men and women, both parts of the labor market, should take a look at this and be like, okay, AI is a threat. How do we work around this? What do we want the government to do about this? Rather than doing that, it seems like a company like Polymarket, now I don't know what their integration with AI is, if they have any stake in it, if they have their own models or whatever the fuck, okay? This feels like a culture war type of post. It's a very divisive man versus woman post. And of course, the top reply, the number one person to bite on this, of course, is one of the people that pushes this shit the most, Asmongold. Too many fake jobs were invented to create artificial parity between men and women in the workforce. AI fixes this problem. Hopefully, after this is over, women can go back to doing what they do best, being a mother or being a prostitute. People also mentioned that this post was made on Mother's Day, which is brilliant. I am glad that I'm hearing a streamer's
If this were 5 years ago, I'd be like, guys, he's just rage baiting and joking. But this is the problem. This is why I'm losing my fanhood of Chudmongold. I don't think he's kidding anymore. I think he's serious, and I think a lot of it has to do with he has an extremist Rightoid audience, and it's what they call audience capturing him. But I think it's more than just capturing him. He is now going so far that he sits on X and reads this shit day in and day out, and he's starting to actually believe it.
Take on too many fake jobs being invented. What I don't understand about this post is does he think that like men are gonna get more jobs now because AI is getting women out of the workforce? Like, who does he think is benefiting here? Is Asmongold advocating for universal basic income here? Like, AI fixes this problem. How can these women go?
See, this is where you have to watch Asmon to actually know what he's talking about. Asmon is, again, like I said, audience captured and becoming a Rightoid and part of his audience. So no, he thinks that women should be baby machines now because Elon and the whatever weirdos obsessed with birth rates think that women don't want to have kids because we want to be career oriented. When really, women don't want to have kids because it's scary to have a kid. It's extremely expensive. And if you don't have A, a reliable income, and B, a guy who wants to be with you and support your kid, of course you don't want to have a kid. Now, some people do it, of course. But if you already you have a career and you're not making enough money to support a kid, then you probably don't want to have a kid just yet. And there's nothing wrong with waiting until you're in your 30s and more stable. But again, Asmongold doesn't understand this because he will tell you, oh, I grew up poor. His dad has actually pushed back on that. If you actually watch Asmongold, you would know his dad pushed back on it and said, no, you didn't grow up poor. But he said they were on welfare, so maybe they were. Maybe dad like slipped cash to the mom so that she could get welfare and get the cash. Who knows? I'm just guessing. But he doesn't understand because he had a mom who stayed home on welfare. And unfortunately, not all of us want to sit and be poor. Like, I think it's fair to say that some of us don't expect a man to give us things. So if you don't expect a man to be rich and give us things, we go out and we get it ourselves. But again, Asmongold and his Rightoid audience stereotype us all as we're just trying to latch on to men at 500 grand a year and we should be baby machines, when some of us are like, no, I really want nice things. I don't expect you to give it to me. I'm going to go out and get it myself.
Go back to being mothers without an income in a society that now you need two incomes to raise a family. And then again, obviously, Asmongold letting us know what he thinks of women, like either being a mother or a prostitute. Which kind of brings us back to the pragmatic discussion that we were having a couple days ago. A big problem I had with this video, especially regarding Asmongold in particular, the conservative perspective on this game was that like, oh look, this is like a pro-natalist game, you know? It's really pushing people to want to have kids. It's the societal issues that are causing a decrease in birth rates. It's not the fact that, oh, people just don't want kids anymore. It's because of how difficult it is to have kids. And when you see Asmongold make this post about either being a mother or a prostitute, it makes the pragmata discussion so much weirder because it really does go back to that yearning for women to be dependent on men again, for women to not have their own incomes, be in control of their own.
Yeah, and if a woman wants nice things, but they're staying home and being mothers, we're supposed to just rely on a man to never get sick of us, to never want to leave, to never decide, you know what, I really don't want to be a husband and a dad anymore. And it happens. And I think it's fair for women to make sure that they have a way to support themselves if that were ever to happen. Asmongold has said, I would want to support a woman, but I would never force her to stay home. Obviously, whoever Asmongold marries, if he does marry, he's a multi-millionaire. She's set for life regardless. Like, that's just what's going to happen. I would be curious to see if Asmongold would make a future wife, if he got married, sign a prenup. That would be very interesting.
Own careers, decide what they want to do with their lives. No, you have to rely on men, either by being a mother, subservient, having a kid, you know, relying on your husband's income, or being a prostitute, which is essentially, you know, having your tricks, getting paid, and serving men in a different way. When I see these types of posts, it screams, I feel like a powerless man. You know, Asmongold.
Yeah, that's actually what I feel like too, because I think that Asmongold is very miserable, very unhappy, probably depressed. It just seems that way, and you can't deny the guy has had a lot of terrible things happen in the last few years. I mean, his dad passed away. He took care of his dad. His mom, what was it, like 2021? I remember 2021, I think it was, because I started watching him for his Final Fantasy streams, and that's when his mom got really sick. So he's had some, like, terrible things thrown his way, but maybe he should, instead of like taking it out on women, find something else to be happy about. But I guess if you're super depressed, the only way you're going to fix being super depressed is if you find the motivation within yourself to find happiness, or you just sit and rot. It sounds like he's that guy that's like, I'm just going to sit and rot. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to sit and rot. But I think he's going to have a change of heart in a few years, because he's going to realize, what the hell am I doing with my life? That's my guess anyway.
You know, obviously in his position, he's made a lot of money off of streaming, but I'm sure he's well aware that without this streaming thing going well, he probably would have either killed himself by now or probably worked at a gas station for the rest of his life. And many of the people that support Asmongold or feel similar in terms of his viewpoints or have that conservative viewpoint are similarly frustrated men that feel that their value in life is lesser than perhaps generations past, men that could, you know, just simply by having a job could attract a partner. Ironically, when Asmongold's reviewing a video about male loneliness epidemic, he comes across this, you know, the number of men enrolled at 2- and 4-year colleges has fallen behind women by record levels in a widening education gap. You can talk all you want about, you know, fake jobs and yada yada, but these women, they go to college, they go to university, they get educated, and they fill the roles. Like, it's kind of funny because you've got like two contrasting ideas, right? Like, he brings up the idea of hoflation here, the expectation of a male to be at least 6 feet, have a body fat under I mean, listen, the body fat one, you can control that one, okay? Make more than 6 figures. The opposite of that, right, is
and he does point this out, but I think it's really funny that if you want a woman to stay home and take care of kids, on top of that, you're gonna have to make at least 6 figures. And I don't mean like 6 figures, oh, I hit 100 grand. It's got to be at least double that, and live in a lower cost of living
A guy wants, well, this sort of guy at least, wants basically a virgin wife who's unemployed, who's just going to be a mother, okay? Realistically, both of these are almost impossible. And in the event that, you know, you want, you know, your fucking unemployed wife, you're going to have to be this guy making 6 figures. I don't know. This tweet just, it paints women as like an opposition, which they are not. If anything is the opposition.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, it's what I said before. I would never call all men trash. I would never call all men trash because I have good men in my life. I have great guys in my life. I respect a lot of men in my life. So I don't hate them. So I would never say all men are trash, but yet you have the Rightoids that are constantly just shitting on women and blame women for everything wrong with the world, and get mad at women like me or other women who are like, nah, I don't want to talk to you or be around you because you're kind of an asshole. And that's just it. If you want a good girl, you have to change your attitude.
It's AI. Whether or not it's a good thing or a bad thing, it's just not a human. If you want to advocate for the fact that, you know, humans should be replaced by AI, and AI is going to enable companies to be making such good profit margins because they don't have to pay for employees that now you can tax them at a rate that you can afford UBI, then yeah, you could maybe make an argument for that, but that's not what's going on here. And this last statement, hopefully after all this is over, they can go back to what they do best, which is either being a mother or being a prostitute. It's just disgusting shit to say, man. Like, I know, oh, it's a meme. We're just being funny, guys.
Yeah, that's the thing. If this was 5 years ago, I would have said he's just joking, but I think he's being serious now. And he did it on Mother's Day to like put an extra emphasis on it.
You believe this shit. That's the problem. It's funny if you don't believe it. It's funny if it's a joke, but it's not a joke. This is what you think. And frankly, to me, the biggest problem isn't even, oh, like, I'm worried we're gonna offend women. I don't think women give a fuck about what a guy like Asmongold has to say. What I think the real issue is that there are 25,000 people liking this.
Yeah, he's showing 25,000. I'm showing 22,000. Did 3,000 unlike? Or I don't know. I don't have anybody blocked, but I show 22. He shows 25.
And what does that do to your brain? What does that do when you have this mindset? This right here.
Yeah, if you sit and scroll through X constantly, like Asmongold does, like a lot of this audience that sits and finds shit just to post it on his Reddit, be like, look, react to this. Oh my God, look at this woman. Look at the migrant. Like, if that's what you do all day long, it's no wonder why nobody wants anything to do with you. Go outside, get a hobby, talk to people, even short chit chat. You realize, like, go to the store and just like have a short, very superficial conversation with the cashier. You will realize that none of this is real. Like, people type this shit for ragebait, to get engagement, but a lot of people don't really think this. But you actually have 25,000 people that sit on the internet all day long, and this is what they think the world is like. Then they say the world hates me, I'm a white guy, or the world hates me. Like, go outside. It's not true. It's not true. You gotta get off the fucking internet.
This is brain broken cuck, like fat ass mindset. I don't even know how else to say it. If you believe in this and you're liking this tweet and you're like, yeah, fuck those women, AI is gonna replace, you have lost. You're a lost little man, and you need to figure that shit out, because this is a problem. This is bitterness. This is being mad at the world, yes, and unhappy with your position. And yes, rather than doing anything about it, rather than going to the gym, rather than getting an education, rather than trying to find a job that pays you more, you're bitter. You're acting bitter, and that's never going to improve your life.
Exactly. Bitterness. Bitter men. We used to always make fun of women back in the day because, you know, bitter women who got divorced, their husband left them for another woman, and they were bitter. They would call all men trash, and you would say, no, like, your husband is an asshole, 100%, but not all men are trash. That's the thing. And now men are falling into that category where they just think all women are trash because they interacted with one girl who rejected them, or they saw a ugly girl in a video game and now they're mad about it. It's just the weirdest thing.
It's gonna make you seem like a fucking weird loser that nobody wants to be around. I just think that this is like a cancerous mindset for any young man. Like, listen, I love the idea of UBI, okay? I think that'd be awesome. If everybody could have like their basic needs met, you don't need to work in order to pay the rent, pay for food, pay for your gym membership, okay? You can just focus on whatever your passion is and try to make a career out of that. But that's not a world in which we exist. That's not a reality that is currently here. And so you have to adapt to that. And
Exactly. Like bad things are going to happen. We wish we had this thing or that thing. But if it's not happening, you find a way to, I guess, the old cliche, turn lemons into lemonade sort of thing.
And I think, again, I just think that it speaks to the bitterness men have right now, the frustration, the feelings of inadequacy. But I don't think that this is the mindset that gets you to where you want to be. I think this is the mindset that some chud fucking streamer is going to offer to you because it's easily consumable. It's like candy. It's like drugs. It's like a quick hit. It's like,
yeah, like he's getting affirmations from his chat. He gets people telling him, "Oh my god, based Asmon, I love it," from other bitter people. So they kind of like feed off of each other. I don't know how obsessed Asmongold is with numbers. He's at the top of his game. He and Asmon fight back and forth with view count. Hasan seems to be super obsessed with view count. I don't know what would happen if Asmongold started losing view count. Would he then become like Hasan and obsess over view count? I don't really know. He's super depressed. That's the thing, is his attitude is of a bitter guy, very depressed. He has a ton of money, but he would probably trade a lot of money, all his money, if he could have the life that he wants. But he doesn't, so he just takes his bitterness out on the internet, and he kind of feeds these guys that don't have any money and feeds them his bitterness, and they kind of feel like, yeah, if Asmongold, the multi-millionaire, the guy that has all the money in the world, because that's all they can think about is, I need a lot of money because they don't have it. They think, oh, well, if he has this point of view, then I should have this point of view too, because he is where I want to be. He has all of this money. It's really kind of shitty.
like, oh yeah, like awesome. It's not your medicine, it's not your vitamins, it's not your fucking broccoli, okay? That shit that you don't want to consume, okay? That work that you're not doing, those push-ups you haven't done, that fucking job application you haven't filed, okay? All of that shit is the shit that actually gets you somewhere. This mindset is what fucking kills you, genuinely. And again, I urge you to think about what someone like Asmongold would be doing if it were not for streaming. What role in society does this person fill? But yeah, that's it for today's video. If you enjoyed.
Yeah, I agree with him. I really liked his take, and that's why I wanted to react to it, because I feel like people that want a partner, guys and girls, if you want a partner and you want to attract the opposite sex, or maybe the same sex, who knows? If you want a good partner, somebody who's going to be into you, have to drop the bitterness and the anger, and you can't look up to people like Chudmongold. Unfortunately, he is now Chudmongold in my mind. You can't look up to him because he's miserable and unhappy. Sure, he has a lot of money, but he's obviously not happy with his money. So that's my word of advice. That's my advice for today. That's my drama for today. I hope everybody has a wonderful Tuesday, and I will talk to you again tomorrow.